Hi.
I think I butchered your name. I'm sorry.
You did it quite well. So I'm indeed Solenne Lagrange. I come from GinxTV Esports TV. Ginx operates the largest TV network dedicated to esports in the world. I don't have it. No. We also operate an online platform, an online magazine dedicated to esports natives, and Ginx Studios, a production company specialized in the creation of video content for brands involved or willing to be involved around esports. So, for example, we produced all the video content for OG lately. Someone, I think David mentioned that a few panels ago, but a few years ago I was in an arena with 24,000 people, I think, here in the UK. And all these people were chanting the DHL name, like properly, DHL, DHL, DHL. I was in the arena. 300,000 people were also watching this from home. And if you wonder what this event was, it wasn't some sort of award for logistic company, or it wasn't a rock band called DHL. It was actually the ESL1 Birmingham, now one of the most watched Dota 2 events, I think, in the world. So DHL decided to sponsor this event, and one might wonder why the market leader in logistics decided to sponsor an esports event. And I would like to show you one of their activations there.
Hey guys, welcome back to ESL1 Birmingham. Now you might have remembered I did a little bit of work for DHL before delivering some presents to our wonderful pro players here. But you know, we have to deliver some stuff to the other people, the fans. I can't do this alone, but like any true hero, I always have somebody that can help me, and that would be my little courier here, my little helper, Effibot. Walking is something not a lot of people do at these events. We like to sit, but Effibot, he's a courier. He's made to move.
He's gonna bring me my stuff?
He is bringing you your stuff. We're having a little quiz show right now.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna ask you a Dota trivia question. If you get it right, Effibot will let you have something from his beautiful swag bag. Let's see if you are good enough for him. Listen to me, if you don't like this kid, you don't have to give him anything, all right? He's wearing a team secret shirt. He's not very trustworthy. But if he's what you want, go for it. All right.
One more chance.
Now, if it's not...
Seems like everyone knows except for me, so you've chosen pretty badly.
Well, oh, he's nervous. There might be a bounty hunter around here or something. He's very afraid. Come, my little son. So, what is your name?
Jessie.
Jessie, welcome to the quiz show with Effibot. What do you think of Effibot?
He's very cute.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. How many times has Arteezy joined Evil Geniuses?
And kicked. I think he joined it twice, but got kicked once and left once.
Oh, we have more people to help in this grand world of Birmingham. Come, Effibot. Effibot, here we go. Uno, dos, tres. Whatever's after tres. All right, well, thank you so much, Effibot. We gave out some good prizes. I think you're a great courier, and he's just spreading love on time, directly, and efficiently, just like DHL in normal, everyday life. Maybe one day you guys will get to meet Effibot by yourselves. But for this event, he's going to be with me for the rest of the time. Give me a hug, my son. Son, please, not in front of the... Come here, my boy. Oh, good boy, Effibot. All right.
So the video is quite cool, and the activation was, but the question is, why did DHL choose to invest in esports? And did it actually work? Because something we at least hear a lot is that esports is a niche, but how big a niche needs to become to stop being a niche? Because is it really that small? And actually, it really isn't. Actually, in 2019, Newzoo, the data research company, estimated that there were more than 200 million esports enthusiasts across the world, while 1.7 billion people were aware of esports. Interestingly, the market grew by 12% last year to reach 433 million viewers across the globe. And the segment with the highest growth was among the esports enthusiasts, it is those who watch professional esports more than once a month. So as you can see, the audience is already big, it's still growing, this is clear, and if the opportunity is quite clear for consoles or hardware brands, the opportunity is actually a lot bigger than that. Esports is made of many different games, players and leagues, and actually as many player habits as there are games. While the esports industry is quite still young, it represents confluence of contemporary digital services and user behaviors. So who are the esports viewers? First, the majority of esports fans, I think we all know that, are millennials. According to Mindshare, 65% of the esports viewership is aged between 18 and 34. And according to Global Web Index, in 2016, 1 in 5 millennials watched esports. But if the misconception is that esports is pretty much limited to college kids around their 20s, Mindshare actually found that a large proportion of esports viewers are in their late 20s and 30s. 60% of fans are between the age of 25 and 39. You can also see on the graph that if men largely outnumber women in esports, they are not out of the game. Depending on the surveys, for example, a recent survey from Nielsen found out that 22% of esports fandom was female, and Newzoo goes all the way up to 38 in their most recent researches. Interestingly, in the countries where esports has been around the longest, that's where you see the biggest or the most the better, I would say, gender parity. It tends to prove that the esports or the women's share in esports is bound to grow as we go. It also turns out that the esports viewers are not impoverished single men, quite far from that. According to Mindshare, in 2016, almost a third of the esports viewership had an annual household income of $90,000 or above. And 58% of those aged 25 have children of their own. The good news, and another good news I would say for brands, is that they are not only high earners, but their passion for esports tend to grow with their income. They are willing to spend, and 67%, yes, of those who earn more than 100K, who earned more than 100K per year in 2016, said they spend most of their free time around esports, when the actual average in the gaming or in the esports segment is 49%. 60% of esports viewers or fans are also said that they are willing to travel to see their favorite games, tournaments, and players. But as any millennials, they are less likely to watch TV than other generations. According to Deloitte, the number of 18 to 34-year-olds who watch TV in an average week decreased by 10% since 2016 to 77. The esports viewership, or sorry, I should say the linear viewership, the linear TV viewership remains large, don't misunderstand me. But it got some traditional broadcasters worried, and all the more as it also esports fans tend to engage less with traditional sports on TV than other generations. As a matter of fact, 70% of esports fans on Twitch spend more time engaged with esports than traditional sports. So we know that esports offers access to an audience of a large audience of very engaged fans, many of which are difficult to reach through traditional media. Many brands understand that and have started investing. Proof is in the esports revenue, which, according to Newzoo, reached $1 billion last year. And the ad revenue among the esports revenue, which, according to eMarketeers, grew by 25% last year to reach $200 million. So brands now are aware of the power of esports and the esports audience. I think that's less and less difficult to convince marketers, but the challenge now lies with, the real difficulty is in how to engage with those viewers and through esports in an efficient manner. Because if esports can be a true opportunity for brands, it's also a real challenge. According to Nielsen, again, 58% of esports fans see brand involvement in esports in a positive manner as long as they add value to the experience. So it's not just about slapping down your logo in the esports fair and waiting to see results, because that's not going to happen. Brands need to be seen as genuinely interested and invested in developing the esports industry. Before signing any sponsorship deal or partnership, brands should really ask themselves, what are we bringing to the esports audience, or what added value are we bringing? If the answer doesn't come easily, then maybe it's time to review the copy, because if brands think that they can survive a mistake in the esports industry, no, they won't. No. The audience and esports fans are engaged and are clearly not scared to publicly stone a brand that they think is fake or missed an opportunity in their opinion. However, if you study your audience, if you pick your influencers wisely and get them involved in the making of the campaign, or even better, in the making of the product if you can, then doors will open for you. Brands that do the best are the ones that have a consistent and sustained presence in the esports industry. Think about Intel with the IM Katowice, or HP Omen, or DHL maybe. We'll see that a bit later on. Esports is also hugely scalable, which is an enormous benefit for brands. You can activate IPs nationally or internationally as you want and as your budget allows. And I would suggest, the last point I would say is that there is an opportunity there, but the space or the window to enter the space and get a strategic advantage is now closing, and a lot more brands are now investing. Brands who want to engage or activate around esports should do it, and should do it now, with some advices. There are many agencies or consultants, we discussed that a bit earlier, who can help with that. But I would like to show a few examples of campaigns that I think were quite relevant. And the first one, for example, is KFC in China in 2019. So KFC always relied a lot, or always made gamers a core pillar of their communication strategy since 2015. In 2019, they worked with a data company called PentaQ to create an algorithm capable of giving out the results of a game based on in-game stats, hence the Colonel KI. Thanks to Colonel KI, KFC increased their daily viewer or their daily presence on League of Legends by 70 minutes. They generated 1.9 million comments directly directed to KFC online, and they managed to trend on Weibo, the Chinese social platform. Interestingly, it's the only League of Legends sponsor that ever managed to trend on Weibo. Other interesting activations, this one was in 2018 by McDonald's, and people who attended the Blast Pro series in Copenhagen could see those signs everywhere. McDonald's decided on its own with this creative agency to match their menus to CSGO terms. Fans loved it. It went all over social networks. Huge success. Just so you know, neither Blast nor Valve were involved in this campaign. It was McDonald's with DDB directly. Another one interesting is Gillette. So this one is pretty standard. They activated through Team Solomid. People got bits in exchange for buying content through the streamers' pages. This one for me is interesting because Gillette notoriously uses old school tools to measure the impact of a campaign, and like brand recognition or purchase intent. After that campaign, the communication manager confirmed that results proved they made the right choice to invest in esports. And the last one, I only have a few minutes.
Okay, girl, it's Code King.
That's one other activation they had.
Why don't you be safe
around
out there?
ESL1
All right? Bye,
Birmingham.
Bye.
it's quite, the video already is nice. Fans loved it, but if you wonder what a cool activation can create and how much fans engage with it, this is the next video. And I don't know if I can pause it. Just watch the difference between fans who see any other sponsor and when they see DHL on screen.
Powered by Intel,
Quiet,
Mercedes-Benz,
nothing.
Vodafone, Alienware, DHL.
They went trending all over social networks. And that, for me, is the best one. I think like fans almost also voted online for the manager who decided to sponsor the event to get a promotion and asked the DHL managers to give him a promotion. So I think that's it, and I'm being on time. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah? Perfect.
So we're going to go to questions. There are first you, then Daniel.
Why did they single out DHL? Is it due to robot and all the campaign before? Because were they all equivalent sponsors of the event?
I think it's a mix of DHL doing activation. DHL had a proper strategy around esports, and they created content before with the influencers from ESL being involved in their videos. They were all over the event, and not just with logos, but with the robot and giveaways. I think you saw that on the first video, but they distributed lollipops, which is the stupidest thing to give away. People were crazy about it. We had lollies everywhere. They ran contests, they created videos after that. People just loved it. I think the biggest takeaway from this campaign is that an esports strategy for a brand needs to be a strategy and not just, oh, I'm going to sponsor this event, put my logo somewhere, and that's it, I'll see if people like me.
Thank you.
I was actually at Birmingham 2018. I did love the DHL, and I believe that they were one of the brands that operated well in space, just because they were very authentic and genuine. But I wanted to ask if you had, you showcased brands that worked well, but like, do you have examples in your mind of brands that didn't work well in the space?
Yeah, so I have one. I don't feel confident giving the name. It's Traditional TV Network, who wanted to sponsor and sponsored its own esports event, created that with traditional TV production companies. The event went live and on air at the same time, but due to technical issues, they chose not to broadcast. The event had two sides. One was an influencer tournament, the other one was the grassroots tournament. They decided to go for the influencer tournament and left completely aside the professional players. Excuse my French, but it was a shitstorm online. People complained. We received emails when we had nothing to do with it at Jinx. And we've discussed with that traditional broadcaster after that, and they said, never again. We're never going to touch them again. Because they now keep receiving emails saying, you shouldn't have done that. Don't do that. You know nothing about it. It was a nightmare for them.
Any more questions? Yeah, I knew you would ask. I was waiting for it.
My question was about some of these brands. Do you think they'll be looking to employ people, whether it's in the marketing side or stuff like that, who are interested in esports specifically for these kind of things like DHL did to try and replicate it? Or?
I hope so. I discussed that very recently, actually, just for lunch today, and I hope that people will start recruiting from within the esports scene to other medias and non-big brands or companies. I hope so. I know that some of them are still asking questions and are still picking the gamer in the team to fill that role. I think it's not enough, but I hope they will.
I had another one as well. When Ninja recently, he's like sponsored by Adidas right now. So do you think that's something that other, say, clothing or sports brands will look to do, is kind of pick particular personalities rather than sponsoring events as such.
That's the beauty with esports. You can either decide to sponsor a global event, or you can sponsor a team or a very specific player within the team, or a live streamer who's actually not part of a team and outside of the professionals sector again. Now, some influencers already have capsule campaigns and capsule collections with brands, or with such as clothes brands such as Adidas and others. I think we will see it more and more, and esports, I think, is still trying to, or people are still trying to understand whether sport, is a bubble somewhere, or is just entertainment. I think people will realize that it's more and more a lifestyle, and you are an esports fan as you are interested in sport, and it doesn't define you entirely, but it's still a big part of who you are. So I think we will see more and more brands like clothes, perfume, and the Procter & Gamble going to esports.
Thank you.
And I have to check, but I think we have time for one more if you guys want to ask a question. If not, so I just want to comment. I find it funny that people have so much difficulty understanding how brands work with esports, but it's pretty much how it works with every entertainment in sports. You have brands sponsoring events and teams and players, so I think it's just a natural evolution. It's a profitable business, and brands will want to be part of it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.